Welcome back. This is Kikao as we continue the conversation of the cancer burden in Kenya. And just before the break, I was engaging the audience, and CHP raised a fundamental question on sensitization. But then cancer also comes with a lot of lifestyle changes. So what are some of the people who are undergoing medication having to now change in terms of their lifestyle? So let me engage Rose, who is a survivor, who underwent treatment, got well, and is better now. But Rose, while you were on treatment, what were some of the changes that you had to make?
Okay, naitwa Rose Adero, cervical cancer survivor. Pia the founder wa group by the name Jidhamini Shujaa. Jidhamini Shujaa ni group ya cancer patient, survivor and caregiver. Mi chenye naweza kusema after treatment ya cancer, life haiwezi kurudi the same. Kwa sababu tunapitia a lot, tunatumia fedha nyingi. Kama mimi wakati nilitibiwa private hospital, sikuchagua, but sikuwa na choice. Kwa sababu nilienda government hospital, nikaambiwa nilipatikana mwaka wa 2015, lakini venye nilienda government hospital niliambiwa nafasi nitapata 2016. Na kulingana na daktari alikuwa ameniambia nianze treatment as soon as possible. So sikuwa na choice, niliavu kwenda private hospital.
Okay, and in terms of the diet, did your diet change while you were on treatment and even after treatment?
Okay, after treatment, diet ili change, but wakati nilikuwa naendelea na treatment, oncologist aliniambia ninaweza kula anything. Kwa sababu treatment ya cancer sio rahisi, so nilikuwa ninakula chochote chenye ningepata. But after treatment, diet yangu ili change.
Yeah. Okay, let me take this conversation now to the nutritionists in the house. Please pass the mic down to our nutritionist here. What is the nutritional advice that you'd give now these people who are on cancer treatment, and even those who are, have finished the cancer treatment? What is the advice, especially on diet? What are some of the changes that they do have to make in order to, get better?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. There's a lot that we do as nutritionists. First, we do assessments. Once the patient is brought to our care, we do assessments, we do diagnosis as nutritionists. Then we go ahead and check their body composition. Once we see the body composition, then now we can advise. There are doctors that say eat anything, but remember, once you are diagnosed, the body is really breaking down fast and you really need lots of protein. Talking about protein, you really need to talk about how are you making this protein, because maybe you can be adding some more carcinogens in your body, the cancer substances. So you really need to talk to a nutritionist to guide you in preparation, portion, and even the frequency of whatever you're eating.
All right. Thank you for that. But also there's...
Sorry.
Okay.
And maybe to add on that, this goes to our Deputy Director.
Could you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Lilian Momina. I'm a nutritionist, and I'm also the National Treasurer of the Kenya Union of Nutritionists and Dietitians. So we have emphasized a lot on the curative aspect of management of cancer, and all our key problem has come from funding. From the cancer survivors, from even the researchers, they have actually highlighted the need of increased funding when it comes to cancer management. But there's also the aspect that we are ignoring as a country, and that is the preventive aspect of disease. And this is where professionals like nutritionists, as we have had a patient who has said that she was diagnosed and then she was told that she can just have anything while on treatment. And as we understand the side effects of cancer treatment, the chemo, the radiotherapy, they come with all these complications that actually affect the adjustments is definitely a must. So when we ignore key providers like nutritionists at the community level, our CHP has said that one of the key challenges that they actually face when they go to the community is the negligence or the ignorance of those community members that they insist they are not professionals. Why are we not utilizing what we already have as a country to actually work on what we are actually facing? Things like adequate dietary adjustment, public health prevention activities, and I understand that the Ministry of Health has nutrition highly impacted or written on their policies, and unfortunately those policies are just that, policies on the shelves. And our Professor Kongo, in his speech yesterday, highlighted that 75% of all the challenges that we have in Kenya don't need new policies. They don't even need new resources. They just need appropriations and prioritization of the funds that we have and the implementations of the policies, as we, of course, we are going to renew because of the current trends and the changing trends that are already existing. So maybe, Daktari, you can tell us going forward what you are going to do for the Kenyan population when it comes to the preventive aspect of diet in managing and preventing the surging numbers of cancers.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We do have an oncologist here amongst us in the audience, Dr. Premier Suching. Are there any preventative measures that can be taken towards cancer?
Thanks so much, Sila, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about the prevention. So, as said before, we have many cancers. And cancers, the only place where cancer never attacks is your hair and your nail. But again, most of these cancers that we have, many of them may not be prevented. We have a few that we can prevent, and the few that we can prevent are the ones which are very common. Well, prevention simply means stopping it from you getting it. And most cancers have risk factors. As said by Professor Mansour before, we start with cervix. If you are in Kenyatta, and most of the public hospital, KU and Kenyatta, the number one cancer is cervix, and cervix is preventable. How do you prevent it? It is caused by HPV. Majority of the cases, almost 98-97%. So if you get HPV, then vaccine, then it prevents you from getting HPV when you are exposed to it, and so that is one of the major prevention of cancer cervix. Diet has been known. We know cancer is a disease of genes, cancer is a disease of environment, cancer is a disease of the metabolism. And again, it has not been very, very clear. We know there are certain risk factors which actually are known to cause cancers, but then diet and that has not been very clear. There are a lot of controversy about it. We know smoking is a big risk factor of many cancers, ranging from even cervix itself, lung, larynx, bladder, pancreas, and so forth. So stopping smoking prevents you from getting. The other one is alcohol. We don't say don't take alcohol, but excessive use of alcohol can actually, you can prevent most of the cancers.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Prima Suching, who is an oncologist. For now, I want to take a quick fire round of questions here in the audience, and let's begin with the gentleman seated next to Caroline. You had a quick fire question. In 30 seconds, please ask your question to our panelist.
I'll take 15 seconds. My name is Elo Mapelu from the Kenya Network of Cancer Organizations. And I will not leave this place happy if I don't get a response from Dr. Sultani Matendechero. You said that the instruments that were supposed to operationalize the critical illness fund are not there. So we don't have that critical illness fund in this budget cycle. My question is, in the absence of that, are we just going to be seeing patients die? Because otherwise they will not be able to get treatment after they exhaust their shift cover. What is the government doing to make sure that we are preventing these deaths? Because they are definitely going to be if we don't have a way out of that.
Okay, Dr. Sultan, could we get an answer, a response in 15 seconds too?
Problem is, because we have, in fact, you've gotten it out of context. Now I'm supposed to answer in 15 seconds.
Okay.
I said the instrument that was to raise money to operationalize the two funds was withdrawn. You are aware what happened in June. The finance bill was withdrawn. so money could not be raised. However, patients are still being seen. They are not being given. It is not happening the way it was expected. So something is being done about it. But we are hoping that in the fullness of time, we will be able to recalibrate. That's what I said. And I also want to repeat for the 18th time, it is not about the Ministry of Health against everyone else. I said everybody has a role to play in this. It can never work. You can never sit in a corner and start saying, private sector, we want you to do this. Oh, citizens, we want you to do this. Everybody, we want you to do this. It is not possible. We have to find out what is my role in this, because it is not business as usual.
Okay.
You have to find out, you have to be proactive, you have to be positive, so that we work towards a solution. This is a very big problem that has to involve everybody. And I can tell you, those policies that we are saying are sitting on the shelves, they have provided for most of what we are talking about here. What we need to find out is, how do we operationalize? What is my role? What is the role of the county government in operationalizing?
Okay.
What is the role of each and every player in operationalizing these policies?
All right.
That way we will move forward. But if we just resign to trying to look at, okay, so now you have the policies. Now how are you going to operationalize? You have the vaccines. They are going to cause childlessness. Come and persuade us to take the vaccines. We will never work
I
that
hope
way.
that response
Everybody
suffices.
has to play their role in making this work.
Does it suffice?
Yeah?
Okay, that is 15 seconds. I will get to you back to you. But let me get a question from this end. What is your question tonight?
Everyone, my name is John Wangare. I'm a pancreatic cancer survivor for 13 years. I got a baby even after that, and I thank God for that. My doctor is here. Dr. Ochieng was my doctor. So my question is, in the 13 years that I have survived pancreatic cancer, which is one of the hardest types of cancer in this country, no one has ever reached to me to know the cause of my survival rates for those years, which can help other patients who are coming up. Like right now, I have a lot of patients reaching me out, telling me that they have pancreatic cancer and it is at advanced stage, they don't know what to do. But according to the people, the researchers, they should have a way of coming to the patient and looking of a way of coming up with a solution. So another question, let me emphasize on this. The last question is, mmesema ya kwamba mambo ya SHA, you have talked about SHA, but kwa nini hakuna madawa hospitalini? We have asked that question several times. Kwa nini hakuna madawa ya chemotherapy in government hospitals?
All right.
But we have them in private hospitals. Unatumwa kwa daktari huyu wa private hospital, unapata zile dawa ziko huko. Kwa nini hakuna kwa madawa?
All right, and I will put you again on the burning seat, Dr. Sultan. Why don't we have medicines in our public facilities? Why are they only there in the private institutions?
So we don't have a good, supply of medicines. That is something that is obvious in the public hospitals.
The question is how?
Pardon?
How do we not have a good supply of these medicines?
No, we are saying that's the situation that is that has been there. Yeah. Now you see, this is what I was talking about. why are we looking like now we want to make it look like it's our. So you see, I talked about universal health coverage. It has 4 pillars. One of the pillars is health products and technologies, not just medicines, but all the supplies, equipment, and other facilities that we need to be able to use in treatment. And there is a whole plan. In fact, it involves things like recapitalization of KEMSA, so that we can be able to have these medicines in the hospital.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So now you are done. You just wanted to ask the question.
No,
then
we are getting
then
the
people
answers.
make noise
Quick fire,
and then it
Dr.
looks
Sultan.
like now there's
Let me
none.
get to you, Anne, on the issue of research. Why do you not get to the patients and find out the survival rates? Why is that?
Actually, we have studies that look into survival. We've done studies on breast cancer, we've done studies on cervical cancer, prostate cancer, and I'm really glad to hear about pancreatic and 13-year survival. That is really great. And most likely it has to do with early detection, effective treatment, and definitely for us researchers, we will be very interested in getting more information from you and others who have had such success stories. So yes, we've done a lot of studies on survival, and there are very good outcomes when you diagnose them early. Stage 1, stage 2, as I mentioned earlier, the survival rates are very, very good. But if you diagnose them late, stage 3, stage 4, that's when we have very poor outcomes.
Okay, before we get your final thoughts, I want one question from a young guy here. Please shoot your question in 15 seconds.
Okay, my name is Edwin Austin. I am a graduate researcher here at the University of Nairobi. First of all, on the survival rates, it's actually to this point,
Please
it's
hold up your microphone.
20% of cancer survivors actually live up past the 20-year mark, which now brings me to my question, which will probably be best answered by the oncologist or the researcher from the University of Nairobi. We speak so much about preventative measures of cancer. What is stopping us from finding a cure? When smallpox was the greatest, should I say, disease back in the second half of the 20th century, so many researchers took up the matter and actually solved it, although over 300 million lives were lost. In the 21st century, allow me to point out COVID, although I'm not drawing parallels between cancer and COVID.
Okay.
It brought about the concerted effort of the whole world to find a vaccine in less than what? Was it 1.5 years? We already had a vaccine. We are in the at time when we have state-of-the-art technology, the best oncologists in the world. What is stopping us from finding a cure for cancer?
Okay, Professor Mansour, could you take that up? Why are we not having a vaccine for cancer yet?
So let me answer this very quickly because you guys are running out of time. The polio vaccine is one virus with one antigen. The COVID virus is one virus with one antigen through which it enters your body and infects you. Cancer, the human genome is thousands of genes, each of which can mutate and cause cancer. We do not have one solution for the genetic makeup of the human beings that can mutate it. Just to give you a quick example, we talk about research. We took tissue from women from Kenya, Kenya University Hospital, with triple-negative aggressive breast cancer. Compared it to African-American women from the US and Caucasian women from the US. We had many more genes which are different than those same women with the same cancers in a different country. So even the ethnicity of our patients have a different makeup and causes a different form of mutation that results in cancer. So we cannot have a solution for a multitude of genes and have an example of polio or COVID. HIV, do we have a vaccine for HIV? The HIV virus mutates every 20 minutes. Every 20 minutes, that virus looks different than it was 20 minutes ago. We don't have a vaccine for it, and that's the same way it would be difficult to have a vaccine for the entire cancers, but when the cancer is caused by HPV, one virus, we have a great vaccine. I think that is the answer.
Okay. Quite an answer. I hope it does gives you some sort of insight on that particular issue. For a second, nutritionist Joyce, could you tell us, could you shoot your question?
Mine is not really a question. Thank you. My name is Joyce. I'm a clinical dietitian nutritionist. I'd like to respond to what the Daktari back there said about nutrition and not being conclusive in prevention of cancer. We know that once you have a habit of overeating or eating too many carbohydrates, that brings obesity. Obesity brings about 1 million cancers, from breast cancer to esophagus cancer to liver cancer to kidney cancer, and that is just from diet alone. There's a patient also who said they were constipated and later on led to other series of tests, which finally they have cancer. Constipation stems from diet. What are you eating? Why are you constipated? Again, that goes to diet. You can prevent constipation. So if you have a lot of water, have fiber, then you're preventing the cancers that come with constipation.
Okay.
So we check a lot on diet, and diet is very conclusive when we talk about preventing cancer, treating cancer, management. There's a lot a dietitian can do than just rubbing them off and telling them that diet does not do anything in cancer. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for your questions, your feedback, and comments. But for now, let me hand over to Joash Onsare, who will now further engage the panelists.
Asante sana Sheila Chelangat kwa kushirikisha pia wadau kuhusiana na swala hili, na hapa mbele sasa tuzungumze kauli za mwisho na wataalamu ambao tuko nao, tusikie kauli zao za mwisho tunapotamatisha. Na kwanza kabisa ningependa kuanza na Eunice. Kauli zako za mwisho kuhusiana na kampeni hii, hamasisho hii ya saratani ni ipi tunapokamilisha?
Asante sana. So one of the things I would also like to highlight, as Daktari has said, the government cannot solve all the problems. And this coming from my own personal experience, when I got my second diagnosis, I had insurance, a private cover. But when it was time to renew it, they dropped me. And this is because they tagged me as high risk. So when it comes to now medical care accessibility, then I'm forced to just rely on SHIF alone, because even if I can purchase that premium cover, I'm not allowed to. I've applied to countless times. I've applied to private covers, and they do not allow us, to get the cover. So what I would say is we need to come up with a holistic solution from the government, the private sector, to make their services more affordable for us. Now, the insurance companies to give us this cover so that we can actually have a better chances at fighting for our lives. Thank you.
Prof. Mansour, what are your final remarks?
It takes a village to change this, and I go back and echo what the DJ said. It is our responsibility. So I go look at the young woman who survived 13 years of pancreatic cancer, and I applaud her because we lose most of our patients with pancreatic cancer. And my question to her is, would she not come to the registry and say, here, I have survived 13 years, check my gene, I might have something that you could sell and make money. So my sense is that is our responsibility. So don't put the poor man on the stand. All of us are responsible, and yes, we can. Barack Obama, my president, and I'm an American. I came here from America 5 years ago to do work in Africa because I was born here. My president says, yes, we can. And we can collectively, not individually. Many issues on the government for sure, but we voted the government in. So we might as well take the responsibility for it as well and try to help them solve our issues.
Well said. Thank you so much. Dr. Omondi, ungependa kusema kipi ama ushauri wako ni upi kwa wale ambao unafundisha? Najua umekuwa pale darasani ukifundisha wataalamu wengine. Ujumbe wako ni upi?
Thank you very much. I think Kenya is ours. We are in it together. The solutions are going to come from us, not from anyone else. For those of us who are in research, in training like myself, I think let us take our responsibilities seriously. And the DG, my friend, you have said that each of us should do something and not just look at the government, which we are part of. My question is my monthly contribution part of that responsibility that I have, or there's something else I need to do so that SHA can work? I contribute every month. Is there something else that I need to do so that SHA can work? Thank you.
Beautiful. Yes. So, yes. So we're marking World Cancer Day today, and the theme for this year's World Cancer Day is united by unique. Essentially what it's saying is we are all unique. We all have unique experiences, but we need to be united in the fight against cancer. We all need to take responsibility for our actions. We need to take actions. I think we've talked so much about SHA, and it is not just the government. It's all of us, taking action and ensuring that we are really fighting this menace called cancer. For us as researchers, we are really still emphasizing on funding from government, local funding towards research. If you look at developed countries, they invest so much in research, right? KEMRI is an institution that doesn't just deal with cancer, it deals with so many other conditions, viruses, malaria, and all the others. So the little funding we get from government is divided in all that. So cancer is still left out. It doesn't have much funding to do the kind of research you want to do, the genomics, the omics, and all the kind of research you want to do. So we are still calling on government to put in more funding. But as we celebrate this World Cancer Day, we stand with the survivors. Thank you for your very beautiful stories of success in the treatments. We really stand with you, and we ask that we all work together in the fight against this cancer. Thank you.
Shukran sana Daktari Ann. Phoebe, najua kuna wale wagonjwa ambao wanajipambania wenyewe na nyinyi kama mashirika. Labda wito wako ni upi kwa wagonjwa ambao ni wa saratani na wale ambao washapambana na mwisho wa siku kuna tabasamu?
Tunasema kwamba ungana na support group ili utie moyo wale ambao pia wanapambana na hali hiyo. When you join the support groups, when you share your story, you've had most of the patients, and if you look at them, you hear stage 4, stage 3, those, and they're looking very healthy. When a patient survivor walks in and says, I have lived with cancer for 13 years, that alone is a testimony. So once you survive this, you know the journey, you know the challenges, and I'm so happy that most of the patients who survive, they usually come out with something. They start organizations, they start support groups, they start CBOs, and that way they're able to fulfill. So my take-home message is that let us enhance community-based screening. The top 3 killers of cancer, prostate, cervical, breast, can be prevented, and yet the uptake of screening is very low. Prostate, for example, wanaume tafadhali 4.4% is not our portion. That is too low. When we enhance community-based screening so that more men come out, cervical cancer now it's improving, around 20% uptake of screening. Breast cancer is now regional. In the villages, it's very low, from 8%, 12%, and 20% in the villages. And now finally, the UHC document that Dr. Matirere talked about is very good on paper. Actually, the people who wrote it had very good plans for this country. I hope that one day it comes to pass. The PHC, the SHIF, and the critical fund. But now, let that, whatever is on paper, come down to the ground. Kwa sababu kwa ground, vitu ni different.
Asante, shukran kwa kauli yako.
Daktari, serikali saidia.
Sasa wewe funga
Nitoke kwa karatasi. Okay. So, first of all, thank you very much for this opportunity, and I think this is the essence of having these World Health Days, to just advocate for better ways in which we can be able to manage these problems. So today I think we've done quite well in terms of creating awareness around cancer and encouraging all the stakeholders to come in and work together. Cancer is a very big issue. We have to pull together, work together, talk to each other, listen to each other, so that we can find solutions. If we talk at each other, we will not be able to manage to do this. Now, I have to take an opportunity to just say, let us support the plan to be able to make healthcare available to all. For those of us who have not registered, let us register for SHA. For those of us who know others who have not registered, let us encourage them to register so that we can all be in it. And then finally, as I heard you talk, I remembered something about our mechanisms, the ways in which we justify our requests for funding. I suffered a lot of that before, and I could see that probably you are a culprit of the same. So talk to me after this. I will give you the trick on how to unlock the funding towards research, because actually research is very important. It helps us to be more efficient so that we can get better results even as we roll out our health programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Last speaker, Dr. Sultani Matendicheru, and that is Senior Deputy Director, Ministry of Health, Asante Sana, as well as right next to him, Phoebe Ongadi, Executive Director, Kenya Network of Cancer Organizations, as well as Anne Korir, the head cancer, Nairobi Cancer Registry, senior research scientist, as well as cancer epidemiologist at KEMRI. And of course, right next to her is Dr. Onyiro Omondi, lecturer, Department of Internal Medicine, University of Nairobi. And not forgetting Professor Mansour Saleh, Chair, Department of Hematology Oncology, Aga Khan University Hospital of Nairobi. You know, Obama is also our president. You understand why. Thank you so much. And of course, the lady of the moment and many other survivors right here.
The KEMRI Annual Scientific Conference happening on the 11th to the 14th, because there will be a lot that will be shared.
Beautiful.
From the findings from research.
Beautiful. We'll send our invoice for the advertisement as well. Yeah? Thank you so much. And Eunice Mwende, cancer survivor, as well as very many other cancer survivors here who've shared their stories this evening. We appreciate you, and as well the entire audience. I know we did not get to speak, all of us, but we appreciate that you made time to be here. I'm sorry.
Shukran sana Linda Alela, najua mara nyingi hatujishukuru. Asante sana Linda Alela, asante sana Sheila Chelangat na kikosi kizima ambacho kimefanikisha shughuli nzima, na ni furaha yetu kila wakati kuangazia masuala haya ambayo yanakuhusu kwa njia moja au nyingine, na tutahakikisha kama TV47 tunafanikisha yote kwa jumla, si elimu, si afya, si teknolojia, si kilimo, yote kwa pamoja, ili uweze kufahamu masuala haya, kwa kuwa tunasema yanakuhusu kwa njia moja au nyingine.
Kuna mama pale ni kama kidogo ana jambo la kusema, dakika sekunde 30 tusije tukauawa. Microphone karibu.
Asanteni sana. Kwa jina naitwa Jacinta Mwangi. Nimesikia kwamba mwezi nifungie nje because the theme is having burden with cancer disease. Na niko na very big burden mimi. Mume wangu alikuwa mgonjwa for 3 years, alafu akakuwa akitibiwa hospitali kadhaa. Dakika ya mwisho, wakati marafiki, wakati watu wa nyumbani wote wamechoka, ndio anakuwa diagnosed ati akona cancer stage 4. Nikatumwa KU. On October akatibiwa, December akawa discharged. Na niliwaambia kwamba mimi nimetibiwa kila mahali, sina hata ile registration fee ya kuregister. Wakamuadmit, wakaniambia nitafanya harambee. Nimefanya WhatsApp group 4, hazijawahi make it. Juu mtu akituma 5 ni ule tu ametusaidia awali. Nikawaambia kwamba waweze tu kunitolea. Wakaniambia SHA imetoa kile kiwango imetoa, na mimi ni lazima nilipe. Nikawaeleza the whole story, nikawaanzia kule kote nimekuwa nikitembea. Mume wangu amefanyiwa operation, amefanyiwa MRI mara 2, amefanyiwa biopsy, amefanyiwa hizo zote, but hawakuwa wanapata cancer. Dakika ya mwisho ndio wakaniambia ni cancer after having PET scan, wakasema iko all over the body, but nashukuru madaktari, for now ako well, but hawezi toka hospitali. Nifanye nini? Na marafiki walinitenga, watu wa nyumbani walinitenga. Nimekaa hivi tu mimi na yeye ndio nang'eng'ana na yeye, na siwezi mtoa hospitali. Sasa inaenda miezi 2 tangu discharge.
Ndo masuala ambayo tunayazungumzia, na mtazamaji, ni swala la kugusa nyoyo zetu. Tunapozungumzia mzigo wa saratani, najua kilio chake kimeweza kusikika na mambo yatakuwa shwari tukimtumainia Mwenyezi Mungu. Mtazamaji, ndo shughuli nzima ambayo tumekuwa nayo, na ni vyema tukufahamishe kwamba pia tumekuandalia makala ambayo utakuwa unayatupia darubini na jicho lingine, ili uweze kuona maisha yalivyo, mzigo ulivyo wa saratani humu nchini, makala ambayo yameandaliwa na mwandishi wetu wa masuala ya afya na sayansi Elizabeth Atieno, na ndo ambayo tunakuacha nayo. Wanakwetu wananiita Joasho Nsare, mwenzangu
Linda Alela,
na mwenzangu pale upande wa pili Sheila Chelangat. Asante sana mtazamaji, usiku mwema, na tuzidi kushirikiana katika kupambana na vita hivi vya saratani. Kwaheri kwa sasa, tupate makala.